Ciao jewelry makers, my name is Joey Balistreri and today I'm going to do a speedy unboxing of the October bargain bead box, and I hope you'll stay with me to the end because I would like to make something with all of you. So this month is October and it is called Falling Leaves. Now just a quick note, there is a 30% off coupon with this box that you can use over and over again in their store for the rest of the month. So what I do is take a picture of this on my phone so that when I'm shopping and placing my order, I can open up that photo and type in the discount code and get that 30% off. So the other thing that I like to do is I take my scissors and cut these into strips and fold them up and put them in the bags for storage. But the Bargain Bead Box has started to add labels most of the time now to the bags. So this is what we have. Oh, this is the most exciting day of the month. Let us see what's in here. I'm going to set the list of items off to the side and let's get right into it. Oh, it's so exciting. Oh, these are 10mm carnelian matte rounds. Wow, I love carnelian. Oh, those are gorgeous. Oh, they feel so good. They have like a satin feeling in your hand. Love those. Make a little space here. Oh, I already see we have rose gold, 2 sets of a rose gold toggle clasp. I have had an idea for a necklace for months, and I think this could be the box to make that work. Oh, I love those. Really love those. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. These are so cool. Frosted crackle agate barrel beads. So I get an email every month when the box extras go up for sale on their website, and I can tell you right now I will be ordering more of these. I adore those. Oh my goodness, and I have such a good idea for them already. Oh, I want to hurry and get through this so we can start making. These are beautiful rose gold leaf charms, brass leaf charms with a rose gold finish, 10 pieces, 18 by 10mm. Oh, they're lovely. Oh, I just love those. Beautiful. Oh, we get these a lot in the Bargain Bead Box. These are 4mm bicone crystals, but these have a magma AB on them. They're really useful. They're great as spacers. They're really useful, but we do almost always get bicones in this box. Oh, these are pretty. 8-piece 10mm crystal faceted barrel beads in green iris. Oh, look how they sparkle and shimmer. Those are going to be so much fun to work with. And this one is a green aventurine carved leaf pendant, 30 by 22mm. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Oh, it has nice detail on it, and the drill hole is side to side. What a gorgeous pendant. Oh, I'm already loving this box. I see some more leaves. These are pretty leaves. These are glass leaf beads with the green iris. It looks to me like they have an AB finish on them. Oh, wow. Look at the shimmer. You know, sometimes in the autumnal colors can be muted and, sort of opaque, but this is a beautiful box for the autumn. It's in the fall colors, but things have a shimmer and a glow. I am loving this box so far. And then we got some 8mm aventurine faceted round beads. I love faceted gemstones. Oh my goodness. They feel so good in your hand, and they just feel good. Gemstone beads in general feel good against your skin, but these are beautiful. The color is very consistent through the whole strand. I love those too. What is this? Oh, we got some jewelry chain. We got some brass jewelry chain. It's 1 meter. 5 by 4 millimeter. Oh, this is a beautiful, delicate chain. Oh, I love this, and there's quite a bit here to work with. Very pretty. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to start making more leaves. Oh, a leaf bead mix, 20 pieces. Oh, these are beautiful too. See, these have that AB coating, so I really love the shimmer that is running through this whole box. Look how gorgeous these are. The AB finish is on both the orange and the clear. And you know, like I'm already feeling like what a beautiful mix to mix this satin with the shimmery beads. I love this time of year. I live in Florida, so you know, autumn is kind of a novelty for Floridians because we have one season, which is hot. This is beautiful too. This is a brass leaf pendant with genuine rose gold plating. Oh my goodness, look how stunning that is. You know, it's very delicate and just very like a gentle leaf, but it's maybe a little bit fragile, but I don't know. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to start working with that. I love that. Gorgeous. And then we got 6 millimeter adventurine round beads, 15 inches. I love 6 millimeter beads. I don't like personally to wear really chunky jewelry, so 6 millimeter beads and smaller, and then mixing in unusual shapes is my cup of tea. Those are beautiful. Also, the color is very consistent all the way through. Oh, these are beautiful. 7 millimeter electroplated hematite. They are synthetic, but they're little rose gold nugget beads. Oh, wow. I don't have anything like this in my stash. Look at how beautiful those are. Love, love, love. And then we got some 5 millimeter daisy spacers in the same rose gold. Those are really useful. We can always use a little bit of metal presence. Let me grab a small dish so these don't get lost. They are so pretty. And we have one more thing. Oh, these are gorgeous. 2-piece green aventurine carved leaf pendants and bails. Oh, that's a unique way to receive a pendant. So we got 2 of the pendants. They already have the loop embedded in the stone, but then we also, well, I can't get a hold of them. We also got 2 rose gold bails. Get my pliers to show you. So you can add them if you want to. You can add them to the leaves if you want to. Or if you wanted to do a jump ring. I'm not sure how we'll use them yet, but this is a really wonderful way to receive some pendants or charms, to have these options. Love those. Let me also grab a dish for those so the little detachable bails don't get lost. What an exciting box. Okay, everybody, I'm going to clean up my mat and get myself organized, and let's make something together. I am back, and I have cut open all the strands of beads and made little piles of the different elements from this box and sort of organized myself. I also have gone into my stash and added I've decided to add some antique copper to this design of rose gold that was in the box, and so I pulled out some antique copper bead caps, a couple of different choices, which are from the Bead Box Bargains website, and just some 6 millimeter jump rings and 4 millimeter jump rings, and some additional rose gold spacers that I had in my supply. I think I might want bead caps in my design. So I have already started to play with the beads because I've had this design in my mind for a really long time and just didn't really have the right beads to accomplish it, but this box is perfect for it. So there were 3 sets of these toggle clasps, and I think we will only be using this end, and we'll be using 2 of them. And then also from my own supplies, I have pulled out some of these antique bronze small lobster claw clasps, and I actually have 4 of them, and we only need 2 of the matching connector in that, and I got these at one of the craft stores, but I had them already in my supplies. So I've already started playing with the beads a little bit for a pattern because I didn't want you to sit and watch me string. So I started with this Beadalon satin copper stringing wire that's 7 strand, and I have cut a length of it and created a strand that is about 22 inches long. So from my supplies, I also pulled out these seed beads. These are both 8/0 seed beads, and this one is actually called metallic rose gold. But in the end, this one is called bronze, but this had more of a copper look. So that is the one that I started to work with, but I have them both out here because there's more to this design than what I have done so far. So here on my mat at the bottom, I just have a little supply of the seed beads. And up here, I have saved out one of these beads and taken a couple of my own bead caps and a little bit of the chain. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that because this is going to be a convertible necklace. So there's going to be a few different strands connected to the one that I'm working on. So let's see. I also, just before we get started, wanted to show you this. When I cut everything apart, I have a whole nother necklace designed to make. So I saved out 4 of these little 6mm beads, 2 of these metal leaf beads, 1 of these crackle beads, and 2 of the yellow leaves, and a good piece of the chain. I can't remember, but I'll give you the measurement when we get to it. So if you want to do this along with me, this is a really unique design and another one that I've had in my head for a really long time. So anyway, I pulled those out and I'm going to set those aside, and we will get to that at the end of this one. So let me just quickly show you. So this is going to look a little bit strange at first because the necklace is about 22 inches long. And so on this end, I have put a crimp cover and added a 4mm jump ring. And then I started my stringing pattern, which is one of these 6mm aventurine round beads, then bead caps on either side of a 10mm carnelian, another 6mm aventurine, then a 4mm bicone, and then 6 of those 6/0 seed beads that to me look copper, even though that's not the name on the package, and then another bicone, and then I did a group of 3 of the 6mm aventurines with 1 of the little daisy spacers in between each one. And then that pattern just repeats all the way. That's how I got the length. And this is the part of the necklace that is going to go around the back of the neck. And so this is a front closure necklace, which will be right here. So I have my little bead bug on this end because we're going to close off this end together. But this is the part that the other sections of the necklace that are interchangeable will attach and detach from. So there's no closure behind the neck as in a normal design. So I think this is going to be really fun. And in the end, you could make as many add-on strands as you wanted to, use up all the beads or go in your supplies and create some even additional ones. So let's finish this end together. I have it not linear and not too tight. So I'm doing this little coil, and I don't want any spaces between my beads. I kind of want to find that sweet spot where it's nice and flowing and there's good movement. And then I'm going to take a crimp tube and string that on. Now these are not the good Beadalon crimp tubes. I think I got these from Bargain Bead Box, and the walls of it are a little bit thin. I mean, it's hard to see because they're so small, but I'm still trying to use them up, and I can make them work. So I am going to I don't need to. I'll make a little loop first. You can string your jump ring on if you want to at this point, but I'm going to go back through that crimp tube and push that wire through a couple of beads and pull it down just to take up that slack. And then I want to try to get the loop on this end to be about the same as I did on the other end, which I've already put the bead cover on it, so it's a little hard to see, but it's going to be about like that. Now, normally you would not want to have your wires twisted before you crimp, but when your beads are strung and you're on this end of a piece, you just have to do your best. So I'm going to, if you can see the channel, I'm going to place that crimp tube in the very back channel of this crimping plier. And then I'm going to just press down. So I have that little bit of a taco shape, and then I'm going to go back in, turn it 90 degrees, and fold it in half. These crimp tubes are very thin. The walls of these are very thin. They're not as good as the bead-along ones, which I use with my magic crimpers. But let me make sure it's, give it a little tug test, and it seems okay to me. So now I can cut off this little extra piece of wire. Discard that. And let's get a bead cover. I don't always use these, but on this necklace, then since it is a front closure and both of these ends will be, actually before I put that on, I'm going to go ahead and add the jump ring. I think it will be easier to do it at this point rather than after the bead cap is on. Just string that right through there. Close it really well. Make sure it's nice and tight. On these small jump rings, I like to really check it and make sure. Okay, now let's get our crimp cover. Whoops, I dropped it. Just place this right over the crimp that we folded in half. The end that has no beads on it, the other end, is much easier to do than this end. But I simply just get that little crimp nestled in there and gently start to close it. So once it's closed, then you won't have to fight with it, but I'm going to use these bent chain nose pliers and then just gently form it into a nice round bead. Let's see. Just get it as good as you can. Another thing you can try is, oh, it doesn't work so well on those. Sometimes the little groove or divot in the crimping pliers can help you to make that round shape, but those thin ones, not so much. Just give it a little, kind of mold it. You can really misshape these crimp covers like I just did. But if you're patient, there, you can get it to look round. I really love the magical crimping pliers, but I really wanted a little bit bigger bead. That's not perfect, but let me see if I can fix it. It's not perfect, but it will do. I'm happy with it. So this is the beginning of a very strange looking necklace, because that is the front of, and this is the part that goes around the back of the head. So now that that part is done, oh, I'm making a mess. Now that that part is done, we can start on the piece that's going to attach to the front. So I have already started by making a couple of components. So I'm going to do a beaded chain where I am connecting these components. So I already did those, and we have two others to do that we can do together very quickly. I'm going to use my one-step looper again, and I am using 20 gauge bead-along. Let me show you. 20 gauge bead-along round copper wire for my components. And let's see, I want to copy this one, so I'm going to do one of the faceted aventurine beads, and then one of my rose gold spacers from my stash, and then one of these 10mm carnelian beads, another rose gold spacer from my stash, and then another faceted aventurine bead, and that is that component. So let's just get it in the one-step looper, make that loop, and we have started working on the other side. Okay, and we have one more to do. Tidy up that loop a little bit before I put my beads on. Okay, and on this component, which one I'm copying this one, on this component I did one of the 6mm aventurine beads, and then one of the little spacers that came in the box, and then one of the crackle barrel beads, another one of the rose gold spacers that came in the box, and then a 6mm aventurine, and that is that component. Let's get our loop on the other end. I'm gonna, while it's still in the tool, I've shown you guys this before, just kind of straighten up my loops and center everything. Okay. So now that side is done. Get that little scrap of wire. Now I'm going to use the leaf pendant for the very center focal point of this part of the necklace. And so from my supplies, I pulled out a antique copper cone bead cap, cone-shaped bead cap, because this is drilled from side to side, and I just struggled with how to make it hang the way that I want it. So I'm also going to be using two of these leaves, and let's see, I don't think I wanted those in it, but one of these and then two of these little spacers that came in the box. So let me show you how we're going to put this together. I'm going to switch from the 20 gauge wire to this 24 gauge copper wire. It's also round. It's also German style medium temper. So let me cut off a little length of it. I am just going to take a length because I want to make sure I don't run out of wire for this design. So what I'm going to do, you can warm it with your fingers and try to straighten it out, but we're about to fold it in half anyway. So what I'm going to do is take this leaf pendant and put this fine gauge wire right through and get it down to the middle of the wire, and I'm going to bring the ends together. You can grab your pliers if the wire's not staying well in your hands, but I'm just going to bring that down to the top of the stone and pinch it together. Like I said, if you want to bring in your pliers gently, this wire is very fine and you can very easy stress it and break it, but you can do that. And then I'm going to take this cone, which you would normally maybe use for tassels, and string both ends of that wire through the cone and let it sit right down on top of the leaf. So the leaf has a little bit of movement, but not too much. And so it just like gives it a nice finished bead cap look. So then I am going to take both of these wires and put them through one of the little rose gold spacers, and then a second one. I like the look of stacking two of them. And then I think just one of these small 4mm bicones, and both of those wires actually do fit through that bicone. So that is going to be our pendant part of this necklace. Now, this is going to be strung on a bar and wire wrapped, so I need my loop to be going front to back. So we are going to keep both of these wires together, and I'm going to grab it right where the wires come out of that 4mm bicone and bend it backwards and just smooth it with my fingers. Make sure it's smooth. Now, I debated about twisting the wire before I did this, but I really want the wire to disappear. You'll see when we string it onto the next component that we're making, but I really wanted the wire to disappear in between the component. So now I'm going to bring my round nose pliers in, and I'm going to make kind of a medium-sized loop. So I'm coming down to about that point on my barrel, and I'm going to bring both of those wires over the top of the round nose pliers, rotate them so the pliers are out of my way, hold on to both of these together and bring it around. And you know my little trick, I just made the lady's head, and that's her scarf. So I can take my round nose pliers out now and get a hold of those wires with my bent chain nose pliers and wrap her scarf around her neck. I'm just going to sort of decide where I like it. And since there is two wires there, even though they are fine gauge, you might want to go back and tidy them up. I can't help myself. I fuss with things. I think I'm going to wrap it just a little bit more to the back of the pendant so that when I trim that away, those wires are on the back. So definitely want to go back and tuck the ends of that wire in very carefully, remembering that that is a crystal, a very small crystal at the top of this pendant component that we just made. Yeah, I'm still seeing a little tail. Okay, now at this point, you can try to straighten everything up. So that is our drop. Now we're going to take another piece of this 20 gauge wire, and on this particular part of the component we are going to wire wrap. I've done simple loops on the rest of the beaded chain. Well, I just saw the end of the wire, and there it is. So on the rest of this section of the necklace, I did simple loops, but on this one, I want to use these green leaves, and so I want them to stay in place and lay flat. So I'm going to start by putting the pendant we just made on the middle of that wire, and then I'm going to get from my own supplies these little spacers that I showed you that I've used, and put one on either side of this leaf pendant that we just created. And it's going to get wrapped in place just like that. Now, as I'm looking at it, I also had brought out these copper spacers from my own supplies. So before I wrap this up, let me just have a look and see if I like that better. They do match the cone pretty well. Oh, I actually think I do like that better. In fact, they're a little bit, let me see, before I wire wrap it, let me see, I think I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try these tinier spacers that came in the box to see if it sits a little bit better. And I think it does. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to put one of these very small spacers that came in the box on either side of my pendant, and that's going to be the way it hangs. And then I'm going to do a leaf pendant going that way, a leaf bead. I have pendant on the brain. A leaf bead going that way on either side, and then let's see, do I want to be done there or do I want to add something else? Let me just see how this looks. To put a crystal. I don't like the crystal going directly against the green leaf. Just try this. Oh, that's pretty. A piece of fuzz on my beads. That's pretty. I think I'm going to keep it a little bit more simple. I think I'm going to wrap it just like that. Okay, so let me get my bent chain nose pliers. So I want my loops on this to be going the same way as my other components, and it's going to be a little tricky. Let me bend that wire up a little bit. So I'm going to grab this here and go up, and let me come to this end now, and I'm going to place my pliers right where that wire is exiting that leaf bead and bend it up. Now I'm going to bring in my round nose pliers, do the same thing, go about there on the barrel and do a nice neat wire wrapped loop. Let's do my centering. Get a hold of that loop and wrap the lady's scarf around her neck. I think I will I'll do 3 wraps. Tidy that one up just a little bit before I trim. Okay, now cut that scrap of wire and we will come on this side and do the same thing. Put the plier right in there, bring that wire over the barrel of the plier, rotate, bring that around, check to make sure it's centered, and we'll get our wraps in there. Try to get exactly the same. I wanted my leaves to be a little bit, my idea was to wire wrap this section so that these would be tight. So I'm going to go a little bit more with that wire because when this is on the front of the necklace, I want the leaves to stay there and not rotate around. So that's the method to the madness. So now I can trim that little scrap of wire, and now we can go in and tuck any sharp bits of wire that are still sticking out. Tuck them in. Don't want anything that will snag clothing or scratch skin. This side has a tiny piece that needs to be tucked. And I also want to just straighten up my loop, so 2 pairs of pliers does that really well. So now we have our component that's going to get connected to these other ones, like that. I have a lot on this mat. I'm really loving that. Okay, let's connect. So I paused the video so that I could clean up my mat, and I connected this section that we made, and I wanted to lay it out because I know that this looks a little bit strange, but this is the beaded strung part that we're going to wear around the back of our neck, and then these 2 open toggles will get connected right to those small jump rings that we put when we were stringing. So let's do that. Now these toggles are a little bit thick in diameter. I wish I could use another 4mm jump ring, but it didn't move freely enough, so we'll connect it this way and then have a look and see how it hangs. This necklace is so versatile, and I think when you see this part done and the rest of the pieces that can go with it, it's a convertible necklace that will allow you to change it up in so many different ways. And it's really fun, and you could continue to add sections if you want to. So now that we have our 2 open part of the toggle facing, we are going to take a 6mm jump ring with one of the little matching closures to the lobster claw clasps, that's a tongue twister, and attach that to the toggle. And this is the permanent part of this part of the necklace. So from here, you can create as many sections as you want to attach and detach. So you could create varied lengths, different beads, beaded ones. I'll show you the one that we made together, and then I created one off camera, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then I had an idea for another one. So this is our basic necklace with these 2 little closures, and now I off camera connected all the components that we made together in the focal point. So I'm going to take one of these 4mm jump rings and attach it to this lobster claw and put that on the very end of this section, and do the same thing on this side. Now that makes this section detachable. Okay, now you just simply attach it as a front closure to the little matching connector end. And it is a little bit long, but you can see how pretty that is. So you could actually pull this over your head, or you have your attachments in the front. So now off camera, I made another piece. I made one more choice, one more part of this convertible necklace off camera. So same thing, I strung a pattern using the beads that were in the box, and then added a copper lobster claw clasp to both ends. Well, if I could hold on to it, to both ends. So how easy this is to just disconnect this section and add this one on. If you want something a bit plainer, you can make your sections longer or shorter so you have adjustable lengths. And if you wanted to, you could play around with different connection points and have a multi-strand. But I did it this way. So there's another choice. So I wanted to make one more part of this convertible necklace, one more section that would be a choice. So let's take these off. And set them aside. And here are the pieces for making another section of the necklace. I will lay it out for you. I've laid out the third option that I want to make for this convertible necklace, and it is going to be using this rose gold chain from the box and some of these little leaves which I have put jump rings on, and then also the large brass leaf pendant that had the genuine rose gold plating. And so I started this component off camera, but I wanted to show you what we're going to do with it. So I started it as if I was going to make a simple loop, but in reality I'm doing my own head pin. So I want to just make a really pretty spiral, and I can see that I need to blunt cut the end of my wire to make that look nice. So I'm just going to take the tip of my round nose pliers and make a tiny little loop, and then continue that little spiral. Sometimes I leave my round nose pliers inside the wire to get, especially on a tiny spiral like this, to get the loop going a bit. So let me grab it with my bent chain nose pliers and just push it into a little spiral, just to add a little something to the bottom of this component. It didn't land where I wanted it to, but that's okay. I am in charge of the wire. I just want to center it a little bit more. Let me see, let me get in there with my smaller pliers. Just want to center that spiral just a little bit more. And you know what? Normally I would have created my spiral before I strung the beads, but I was thinking to do something else, and once I got the beads on the wire, I changed my mind, and instead of redoing my loop, I just decided to create a component. So I was going to do a component that was going horizontal, and I changed my mind because I really like this leaf. So I want to take one of these 6mm jump rings and connect the component that I just made to the front of this leaf. Close that jump ring really well. Now, we are going to take this chain and find the middle. So let me see, do I have a scrap of wire here? Yes, I do. Just get a scrap of wire, because I definitely do not want to count links. So I'm going to just put the last two links of this chain on a piece of wire to find the middle. And let's see. I want my leaf pendant to hang right in the middle. And there it is. So let's get a hold of this, and just need to open this jump ring just a little bit, because that is a very dainty chain. And I'm just going to just reposition my pliers before I pull it up. Okay, got a hold of it. Close it really well. So now our leaf pendant, piece of wire, now our leaf pendant looks something like that. Okay, so now I will want to count links because I want to space out these small little copper leaves evenly, 2 on each side of this center pendant. So the first thing I want to do is get this chain to lay nice and flat so that I can make sure my connections are not going to be twisted when the necklace is hanging. So nice and flat, perfect. And now make a decision about where this first one is going to go. So what about 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do we think about that? I like that. So let's open this. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put that one right there. Okay, and then let's go 6 more up. Get my jump ring ready before I count. And I want to turn this around because I don't want to connect the leaf backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that one is going to go right there. Close that jump ring. Okay, 2 more jump rings for this side. Oh, I forgot. I already connected them to the leaves. I've been working on this necklace for a long time today, and I think I'm getting tired. Okay, again, I want to turn this around so that I'm connecting my leaf facing forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to close it without disturbing my chain so that I can put the last leaf on easily. That is not closed well enough. Okay, I did disturb my chain a little bit, but get it laying flat. Okay, last one. Get my jump ring open. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to go right there. Don't get frustrated. Take your time. Sometimes when something should be so simple and it feels hard, it's either because you're tired or hungry or thirsty or need a break. Okay. Oh, this is beautiful. This is really pretty. But I have to say, I'm not sure if I'm going to like the way that is hanging in front of the leaf. That may hang okay when it's laying against the body. Can you see it? This is a little bit hard to hold up like this. But now the last thing to do is add our lobster claw on each end. So I have 2 more of these little copper lobster claw clasps and 2 more of those 4mm jump rings. So I do want to, before I make that connection, I do want to make sure my chain is laying out nice and flat. This is dainty chain, but the links, it's a curb link chain. I tend to use this for extender chains a lot, but in the rose gold, this was really pretty. Okay, close that little 4mm jump ring. These jump rings were just not perfectly round. They're giving me some trouble. Okay, And let's do the same thing on this other side. We'll come over here. Let me lay my chain out so it's nice and flat. And this, our convertible necklace, will be finished. So again, there are more beads in the bargain bead box this month. And I actually want to do another necklace with the bargain bead box. But if you wanted to continue making alternative sections for this convertible necklace, there are still things to work with in the box. The green leaves, the leaf mix. I did use all of the carnelian, and I still have some of the 8mm faceted beads left, but I did use quite a bit. But anyway, now we can add this to the bottom of our base necklace. And on this one, it's a bit longer, which I did choose the chain to be a little bit longer so that if you wanted to attach two things at once and wear it as a layered necklace, you could. So I know that this is long and has a lot of parts to it and is very difficult for you to see, but I will put it up on my mannequin and take some pictures, and you'll be able to get a better look at it. And so I really hope that you guys get inspired by this and that you take this design and run with it, make it your own. So I'm going to come back and do another necklace using a few beads and more of this chain from the bargain bead box. So I will see you in the next video. Ciao.